Understanding the needs of your partner. This is a really big one, and this might save you a whole lot of fighting and a whole lot of heartache. Why is it important to understand the needs of your partner? As important as it is understanding our own needs, I found that understanding my own needs, being able to be articulate about what I want, being in control of my emotions, or not in control, but rather being able to regulate and use tools for emotional regulation, and as much power and value that there is in understanding myself, what I need. I found it really valuable to really understand or take the time to try to understand the needs of my partner. And this is why. I believe that we all have differences and we all have unique ways in which we express ourselves and which we receive information. Understanding the love language or your emotional capacity of your partner allows space for compassion and understanding. I do believe that it can mitigate or minimize triggers when it comes to conflict. And by understanding your partner, it is not giving validation to actions or condoning wrongful behavior, but allowing understanding of perspective, which would allow me to not project or assume what my partner's thinking based on how I think. And if we really can dive or take on the concept of that we are all unique and individual, and letting go of my own preconceived ideas, by opening my heart, opening myself to understanding perspective. And if you really care about your partner, is what is it that makes them tick? How do they see the world? And having a deeper understanding of that allows perspective to not be triggered by certain things, and it does allow for compassion and understanding. And I really believe it fosters a beautiful communication, being able to see your partner or a loved one based on how they see the world and putting in effort into how they see and perceive the world. For example, cleaning the dishes. That might not be something important to you. It's just the dishes. But if that is really something that is important to your partner, being able to understand that this means a lot to them, and because it means a lot to them, I'm going to make more effort to do things that they like. And I really believe it fosters connection and it builds trust and desire. I'm going to give a real life example. I am a very fiery person, and when I'm in conflict, my need is to talk now, and I want to get it out, and I don't want to talk. I probably need to, not probably, I definitely need to actually calm and regulate, but when I'm unregulated, I want to talk and I want to receive it right now. And having a partner that needs a calm space, being able to understand that my fiery needs to talk right now is not conducive, or it cannot be received by my partner who needs calmness and a calm space. And if I continue to push my agenda and my needs of I want what I want right now, is not going to foster connection. It's not going to foster repair. And it's a really hard one, because I've got to work really hard to regulate and actually realize that if I push what I want right now to get what I want, I'm taking away from my partner. So can I sacrifice my need to talk right now? Can I regulate? And can I give space to come back in a calmer space? Because when I'm calm, that is more conducive to my partner receiving me, and the conversation is going to flow, and we're actually going to hear each other, versus me just pushing what I want, and that's going to create disconnection and my partner shutting down. Understanding that my partner's needs for calmness and space maybe supersedes my moment of dysregulation in that moment. And that is a practice to really understand that if resolution and connection is what I really want, my need to speak right now is not as important as understanding the needs of my partner to need space and calmness. Do you want to understand your partner better? Is it important to you to want to invest into understanding their needs? A really good practice is to not wait for conflict, not wait for when something is pressing inside of you, but in a regulated, calm space, setting up a safe space that is beautiful and loving and open, where you just share, you listen to each other. And when we listen to each other, really practice active listening. So when your partner shares, actively listen. What are they saying without trying to understand in your perspective what it should be like? And really understanding that when your partner says, I need you to bring me flowers once a month, and to really look deeper, what does that mean? The act of service or the gift of the flower means it's showing love, it shows appreciation, and that means your partner feels loved, and that's what they really do. And because you love them, really understand, even if it's not the same for you, and vice versa. Be raw and vulnerable about what are your needs, and really practice this continuously. Have open dialogue about what are your needs, especially after a conflict. A good way to practice is after a conflict, in a really calm space, have a debrief about your conflict and talk about things, and don't use projection. Speak from the I. For example, in that moment when you were screaming, this is how I felt, it made me shut down, and really share vulnerably what would be better. If you took the time and you were calm, I would be more open to receive you, and really actively listen and have an open, raw debrief. So to summarize, understanding your partner is not to condone actions or not to support certain behaviors, but it's to get a deeper understanding to manage your own triggers and your own perspective. And I think it is a beautiful thing in a relationship for partnership to both take on understanding each other's needs, but also creating a safe space where you can communicate about what your needs are, instead of projecting of you need to do this for me, talking about what you need, and really actively listening to each other and being able to understand that maybe there's certain things that is just not in my world, or that it's not in my awareness field, because maybe it's not as significant to me, but understanding and realizing that it is significant to my partner gives me the awareness to make more effort to foster connection and little acts of love and kindness.